Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today, because let's be real. Human attraction is undeniably one of the most fascinating aspects of psychology. Today, we're going on a bit of a psychological detective's journey. We're going to decode the subtle, almost hidden ways people reveal their feelings, looking at the science behind why our bodies sometimes say what our mouths won't. Okay, let's dive into this.
So, how can you tell if someone secretly likes you? It's a question as old as human interaction itself, right? While some people will just openly express their feelings, a lot of us play our cards pretty close to the chest. But here's the really interesting thing about human biology. While our words can easily deceive, our subconscious body leaves a trail of undeniable psychological clues. It's almost impossible to completely hide what we're feeling.
Think about the contrast here. On one side, we have conscious actions. This is us deliberately playing it cool, carefully choosing our words so we don't accidentally give anything away. But on the flip side, we have subconscious leaks. These are the nonverbal cues and physiological changes that our evolutionary biology essentially forces upon us. And according to psychologists, these subconscious signals can tell us vastly more than words ever could.
So let's break this down. Welcome to Act 1, the body's betrayal.
In this first act, we're looking at the highly visual, spatial cues you can literally see in real time when someone is secretly interested. It all starts with the window to affection. Prolonged eye contact. A really fascinating study published in the Journal of Research in Personality actually found that people who gaze longer tend to be perceived as more interested and affectionate. And there's a biological reason for this. Prolonged eye contact actively triggers the release of oxytocin. Known as the bonding hormone, this chemical works to literally strengthen the emotional connection between two people.
So, what should you actually be looking for during your everyday interactions? Well, watch for dilated pupils, which happen completely naturally when we look at something we like. Watch for longer than usual stares, and my absolute personal favorite, the classic look away, look back again maneuver. If you catch them doing this subtle double take, it's a surprisingly strong indicator of romantic interest.
And that brilliantly illustrates our next major physical cue, the chameleon effect. Psychologists use this term to describe the subconscious synchronization of body language. Studies in social cognition reveal that mirroring builds trust and actually increases likability. If they copy your gestures or sit the exact way you sit, that isn't deliberate. It's simply their brain's automatic way of saying, "Hey, I feel close to you." Next time you take a sip of your coffee on a date, just watch to see if they immediately do the same thing.
What's incredibly fascinating is just how dominant these silent signals actually are. Based on Albert Mehrabian's famous communication theory, nonverbal cues make up a massive 55% of human communication. That leaves only 45% for the actual words we say and how we say them. It really hammers home just how overwhelmingly important body language is compared to the spoken word when we're trying to decode attraction.
Because body language is so dominant, spatial positioning is a huge giveaway. Leaning in shows active engagement and emotional warmth. You want to look for specific behaviors like facing you directly and avoiding crossed arms to keep their posture open. But pay special attention to their feet. While someone might meticulously control their arms and their face, people almost always forget to control their feet. If their feet are pointing directly toward you, it strongly indicates comfort and an active subconscious desire to engage with you.
Okay, so those are the physical spatial cues. But, human emotion is rarely that calm and collected, is it? We have to ask the inevitable question: what happens when attraction meets anxiety?
And that brings us right into Act 2, nerves and joy.
See, attraction isn't just about gazing calmly into someone's eyes. It often throws our entire nervous system into a bit of an unpredictable frenzy. So the crucial point here is understanding the battle between deliberate calmness and nervous energy. While someone might try incredibly hard to project an aura of ice-cold calmness around you, evolutionary psychology dictates that the sheer desire to impress a potential mate creates an unavoidable sense of restlessness. Attraction often triggers actual nervous system arousal. Because of that arousal, you'll literally see physical leaks of anxiety. Here's your checklist for nervous energy: fidgeting frequently, constantly adjusting their hair or their clothes, tapping their fingers, or laughing nervously when you're around. Now, it's important to note that nervousness can just stem from baseline shyness. You really need to look for consistent patterns in these specific behaviors around you to differentiate genuine hidden affection from just general social anxiety.
And speaking of laughing nervously, let's talk about emotional warmth in action. Frequent smiling and laughing actively increase bonding and signal approval. In fact, a really cool study in evolutionary psychology showed that people who smile more are perceived as more attractive and trustworthy. If they smile the exact moment you enter a room or laugh at your jokes, even the undeniably terrible ones you know aren't funny, that laughter is less about your stand-up comedy skills and much more about their subconscious desire to bond with you.
All right, we've seen the physical space, and we've seen the nervous energy, but how does physical attraction evolve into genuine mental prioritization? How do these physiological responses translate into someone actually carving out a dedicated space for you in their mind?
Welcome to our final phase, Act 3, the mind's investment.
In this crucial escalation phase, the clues move way beyond mere physical proximity or a racing heartbeat. They begin to reveal deep, undeniable emotional prioritization. One of the absolute biggest tells is remembering small details. Relationship experts consistently highlight that memory retention drastically improves when emotional interest is involved. Think about it. When someone recalls your favorite food, remembers a book you casually mentioned in passing, or retains a tiny, mundane fact you shared weeks ago, it's not just that they have a good memory. It's proof that you occupy significant real estate in their mind. You matter to them.
And because you occupy that mental space, they're going to seek you out, both physically and digitally. Research from attachment theory tells us that consistent communication is a hallmark of genuine affection. It's all about the pursuit of presence. People naturally seek out proximity to those they're attracted to. They prioritize the connection itself far above the actual content of whatever conversation they happen to be having with you.
You can actually see this pursuit of presence in everyday actions. They might initiate completely random conversations, send spontaneous messages totally out of the blue, ask for your help when they definitely don't really need it, or creatively fabricate excuses just to see you. I mean, we've all seen this, right? Someone asking for help with something they clearly already know how to do. The specific excuse they use to reach out doesn't actually matter. The excuse is fabricated, but the underlying effort to maintain a close, consistent presence to you is entirely real.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground today, so let's pull back and finish by putting the clues together.
Here's what you really should take away from this explainer. Attraction is rarely perfectly hidden. It leaves trails in body language, behavior, and communication. However, no single sign on its own guarantees romantic love. Someone might just be naturally fidgety or just happen to have a great memory. But when a cluster of these cues appears together, it paints an incredibly compelling picture of hidden interest. By aggregating these clues, you can drastically boost your own emotional intelligence.
Recognizing these psychological cues backed by behavioral science not only helps you navigate your relationships with much greater clarity, but it opens your eyes to the unspoken truths happening all around you every single day. Because at the end of the day, as this final thought reminds us, love is often felt before it is spoken. So, think about the people you interact with daily. Whose subconscious signals will you be paying much closer attention to tomorrow?